Alright guys, today is the 4th of October. This is for tomorrow's session for the 5th of October. Now, on Friday we tried to fill the gap on the S&P 500 futures. We tried to fill this gap here that you guys can see. And obviously, as we can see here, we failed to fill the gap, which is a bullish sign, meaning the buyers were too strong and they just wanted to grab all the prices down here. They didn't want prices to get any lower, and so they defended the gap. Okay, that's just again telling us that these guys are strong. Okay, they have a lot of conviction. Okay, and so later in the day we kind of established a little balance here, as you guys can see it, like a little range, which we're going to play. Okay, this is not necessarily a trend day, obviously, as we didn't have pretty flat distribution. It's pretty much um, wide up here, okay, with a slight um, like tail sort of formation down here. Okay, so this balance is what we're going to be playing. Okay, and so if any prices get below here, you should expect sellers to start coming in and for them to want to fill this gap. Okay, so if we do get below the value area, okay, so if we break this balance, we will start to see lower prices and possibly and very likely fill this gap. Okay, markets don't like gaps. Okay, they will just trade them, fill them, and then keep going with their business. Okay, so pretty much below this is our line in the sand. Above, below equals bearish. Okay, and obviously, as you guys all know at this point, or if you're new, if prices are inside of this area, this balance area, you expect rotation, okay? Because this is the most accepted price and prices, okay, for this day. Okay, so so in the next session, so the following day, you expect sentiment to be the same, right? Unless we open at a much higher price and we gap, then that's a different story, because that tells us that prices were accepted higher. However, if prices trade back inside here, look for rotation. Okay, we're going to remove this previous day value. We don't need this. Okay, we do have the excess up here that we need to fill. So again, prices trade inside here. They will go sideways, sideways, sideways maybe, and then come up a little more. Okay, again, this prices like to fill these single prints. Okay, we also have a little poor high, okay, which is a good sign for the bulls, for the buyers. Okay, so this is very likely to be repaired. So as of 11:59 p.m., we are trading at 33.57, which is right about here. Okay, so we already had a pretty good run from the open of the futures overnight session. So far things are looking good for the bulls in tomorrow's session. If that buying continues into the open, then we will very likely see some trade inside this excess area, this imbalance here, again, and possibly to take out this point of control up here at 3400. Okay, the key is to see the action at the open. If the open opens up here, right, let's say we open up here, we gap up like I said before, and there is no buying at the open, you see prices just kind of fail, then the most likely place for prices to go is inside this balance. Okay, and obviously, as I said, if we are in this balance, expect rotation. If we go below, expect a move to the gap. And that's pretty much it for the S&P. I will leave this here for a second so you guys can take a screenshot or however you may like to get these levels. Okay, now let's move on to the Nasdaq. Okay, because same idea here. So you guys can see we tried to fill the gap, we failed, and they just kind of bought up the entire move inside the gap. They just bought it all back. Okay, all these guys jumped in. Okay, the close was not that strong on the NQ. We did close at the lower end of the valance in the value area right here. And so we don't have as much confidence on the NQ. Okay, however, we did have, just as in the S&P, we did have some good buying at the open of the futures overnight session. And so we are trading at 11,316, which is right about here. Okay, so we are going to play this the same way as we are playing the S&P, following value area. So here we have the value area high, and then with that we have the value area low right here. Okay, and as I said, below this bearish, expecting a fill of the gap right here. Okay, as I mentioned before, we don't use the value area from previous days. We only use it from the most recent day. Okay, we are only going to be focusing on the point of control for this day, right, as it's a prominent point of control. So it's going to be like a magnet for price. It's going to be an area where you should expect to see some sort of reaction if it does end up trading up here. However, like I said, if we trade anywhere inside here, expect rotation. Anywhere above with volume, expect a breakout. Anywhere below it with volume, expect a sell, kind of like a small sell-off to the downside here towards 10,773 and a half. Okay, there's really no support or any references in this area, so we have a very large area and a lot of room for the sellers to push prices. So it will be kind of interesting to see what happens if the sellers do end up getting a hold of the market in the morning. If they can bring it down here and just start filling in all these prices. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the NQ. Now let's take a look at the YM, last but not least. Okay, we have a very ugly ledge formation here, okay, which is very good for the buyers, right? Look at this ledge. It kind of just goes from, after the second period, we go from 2, and then it just drops off, and then it goes to these 2 periods here. So it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide. You guys can see this. Let me zoom in a little more. You guys see how it's like a flat top? This is a very unfinished profile. It's a very unfinished auction. Okay, so there's likely still business to be done at higher prices, just because you know, they couldn't get all the buyers in, or the buyers couldn't get all their trades in on Friday, as obviously we kind of liquidated at the end of the day. Okay, but we're gonna have the same idea as the other two. Okay, we're gonna use value. Ledge. And then also keep in mind we have a poor high up here. Okay, meaning it's likely to be taken out. This is just telling us, again, these two things are just kind of stacked on top of each other. Again, they're pretty much telling us that buyers are very likely to take these higher prices. Okay. Now below value, like I said, below equals bearish. Okay, and then we had a good excess down here telling us the buyers were very strong. And so if we do have any breakouts, it should be with good confidence to the upside. As long as overnight holds, that is. And yep, that's pretty much it. Here you go. If you guys want to take a picture again, just take a screenshot of the prices. Make it a little easier for you guys to see that. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you guys know where to find me. Just reach out to the free futures chat room and I'll get back to you as fast as I can. And yeah, thanks for watching.